Hi, this is Pete. Welcome to my channel. And here we are with a Volca Drum special about how to make this little box sensitive to MIDI velocity. Because we have a MIDI input, this instrument can also be played by external pads or keyboards. That's nice. However, like most of its brothers and sisters from the Volca family, also the Volca Drum does not understand MIDI velocity. That means it does not respond to a varying input velocity, say you cannot play it dynamically. No matter how hard or soft you hit the keys or pads, the sound will always be the same. In principle, it's a shame for a drum synthesizer not being able to respond to velocity, and I understand drummers who think of the Volca Drum as just another toy for programmers. Although the powerful Volca Drum sound engine has the potential for a great live percussion instrument, the velocity ignorance prevents such ambitions right from the beginning. Therefore, I thought about possibilities to translate MIDI velocity into some MIDI control changes that the Volca Drum would understand. As a hardware-loving programmer, I first had an idea for a computer-free solution, but as a starting point that could also be useful for many other musicians, I finally decided for a Max4Live based solution. Because I'm not very familiar with Max4Live, I asked Tobi from Ableton Drummer for some help, and fortunately he was excited about this little project. And then it was within a matter of days to realize a first prototype that I can present to you now. For this prototype that we called Velo2VolcaD, we decided to use the Volca Drum in single channel mode because it makes a Max4Live integration much easier for the user. On the downside, single channel mode does not provide the full control of all Volca parameters. For this you would require the so-called split channel mode, but then it wouldn't be possible to control all Volca parts from a single device on a single track in Ableton Live. To put the Volca into single channel mode, you have to turn the device on while pressing the record button. And then you select the receive channel, for example channel 10, just from the Volca keyboard. Press the record button again and you are done. Now let's take a look on the Velo2VolcaD user interface. Here you see that the incoming MIDI velocity can modulate a maximum of 6 parameters out of 9 possible choices for each of the 6 parts. The possible velocity targets include the level, the attack and release time, the modulation amount and rate, the pitch, as well as the pan position, the effect send, and finally the select parameter. If you have chosen a modulation slot and a particular parameter, the control change output range specifies the impact of the velocity on that parameter. The left value is send if the velocity is at the low end of the input velocity range. The right value is send when the velocity reaches the upper bound of the input range. By default, we have the full velocity input range, but you can also realize velocity splits or layers across different parts because you can select the same input trigger node for 2 or even more parts. At that point, it is important to realize that an increasing amount of simultaneous MIDI events also increases latency. Each control change event has to be sent before the corresponding node on event and therefore adds about 1 millisecond of latency because all data have to be transmitted over a standard MIDI connection. Nevertheless, I think that Velo2VolcaD highly extends the possibilities of the Volca Drum, and in my opinion, if played with pads, it now feels like a real instrument. To show you the device in action, I recorded a few tracks in Ableton Live where I used the pads from an Arturia beat step just for triggering, And for demonstration, I also used some controller mapping to vary the output ranges of several parameters, which was really fun. I hope you will also enjoy this little demo, and if you like the whole video, it would be great if you subscribe to my channel. And now it's time to turn the microphone off and just make some noise. Stay tuned.